Okay, well, this meeting is being conducted remotely via Microsoft Teams. For those watching this video in the future, the state of Illinois is currently under a stay-at-home order issued by Governor J.B. Pritzker due to the coronavirus global pandemic. As a result, all in-person governmental meetings have been canceled. However, the state has suspended the Open Meetings Act to permit electronic meetings of government bodies like the Historic Preservation Commission, and tonight we are conducting our business in compliance with the guidelines from the state. This meeting is being broadcast live on our local access channel 6. It is also being broadcast on the internet on YouTube Live, and the URL for that is www.youtube.com/user/Village of Wilmette/live. If you'd like to participate in the meeting, that's the place where you need to watch it, not just on channel 6. The meeting will be archived on the Village's webpage, as we do with our other televised public meetings. To ensure that our residents and other interested parties have the opportunity to participate in this meeting, we have solicited public comments prior to the start of this meeting via email. If you sent an email to comdev, that's C-O-M-D as in David, E-V, at wilmette.com prior to the start of this meeting, our staff will read the email during the public comment portion of our agenda. If members of the public who are watching the broadcast would like to participate during our designated public comment period, you may submit your comments through YouTube Live at the appropriate time, and a member of the Village staff will read your comments to the Historic Preservation Commission. All comments to the Commission will be recorded in the meeting minutes as we typically do. Those of you new to our meeting, the purpose of this commission is to hear evidence on appropriation or applications for certificates of appropriateness and designations for local landmarks. Based upon the evidence we hear this evening, we will make recommendations to the Village Board of Trustees as to whether the appropriateness that comes before us this evening should be granted or denied. When the applications, the cases we shall hear this evening will be heard in the order set forth in the agenda. After the applicant has had a chance to speak and the commission has had asked any questions, we will open the meeting to public testimony. After we have heard oral presentations, I will close the evidence and the members of the commission will discuss what they have heard and take a vote. Please note that all votes must be done by roll call. Once the evidence is closed, no further testimony on any application may be offered. The only people entitled to speak during that part of the proceeding will be the members of the commission. This meeting is a legal proceeding and all testimony tonight must be given under oath. If you are here and planning to testify tonight, I would ask that you raise your right hand at this time and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth in the testimony that you are about to give? If so, please say, I do.
I do. I do.
Thank you. Okay. Kate, did you want to take the first part of the minutes? Or you want me to go ahead and call that?
For agenda item number 3, I went straight into our first case. We can approve the minutes towards the end of the agenda for agenda item number 7. So if you want to go ahead and call the first case on the agenda, and then the applicant can present it.
Okay. Number 3, consideration of a request for a certificate of appropriateness for revision to the previously approved plans for a rear addition to the local landmark at 507 Lake Avenue, the Frank J. Baker House. Just case number 2020 HPC 02.
Mike, if you want to go ahead and introduce the case, just an abbreviated version of the changes that you've made. The commission did see this project back in January. The village did issue a building permit for that proposed project. Since then, the owners have wished to make a few minor changes to the proposed addition. And so because those are changes to the exterior of the home, those changes need to go back to the commission for review and approval. So the architect is going to just briefly explain the changes, and then the commission can deliberate on that.
Okay. My name is Mike Benachuk, and I live at 1615 Highland Avenue here in Wilmette. I'm the architect for Eric and Amy Bauer, who own 507 Lake. We issued a certificate of appropriateness back in January. In the meantime, between then and now, we made a few changes to the kitchen and different location for the range, and which would mean we would eliminate a set of double windows on the back. And then we'd also like to eliminate the 4 little windows on the west side. Do you want me to show you that?
Yeah, if it's easy for you to pull it up, you could just bring up that rear elevation so that everyone can see what you're talking about.
Okay, let's see. Okay, do this here. Okay, did that come up?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so this is what was approved. With the windows on the back, we would like to eliminate the center bay of windows. That allows us to put the range there and vent out. And then the little 4 windows on the side, we went with higher wall cabinets. So we'd like to keep the trim on the side, but eliminate the windows. That's pretty much it. Everything else stays the same. There's been one other thing that came up this weekend. We were meeting at the house, and the kitchen is down now, and you can stand in the space and look out towards the backyard. And originally we thought it would be so nice to have the sink right on the back wall, as was approved, that we could see everything in the back. Now they're kind of thinking, maybe we should keep that how it is. So what we would like is, for at least for the next week or so, depending on when we can decide this, keep our 2 options available. They're so minor, they're so similar, but that's what we're asking.
And I was just going to add, the commission, I can put on the record that the commission is basically giving, if the commission makes the decision to recommend approval of the plans, it can basically be the option to go with the previously proposed window configuration that was approved in January, or the one being presented today, and that way it gives the owner some flexibility. What they end up building will obviously have to be consistent with, one of the 2 plans that have been presented to the commission.
Well, that's it. Yeah. In both cases, though, we would, if we put the sink back, we'll still eliminate those 4 little windows on the side. Okay? Okay, gladly answer any questions.
Chairman Hutchinson, do you want to request any questions from the commission, and then we can move to any public testimony if anyone has any comments from the public?
Sure, I just want to make sure that that's the only testimony we have regarding this change, or regarding this particular issue. Nobody else is speaking on that at this time? No homeowners, no anybody else? That's our evidence?
And then, Mike, if you wouldn't mind, if you could stop sharing your screen, and then we can get back to the members.
Got it.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, this is Eric. I don't know if you can hear me at all.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So this is Eric, one of the owners. I'm not sure if my wife's on the call, but if anybody this call's gone through any sort of remodel, you understand that you may want to change your mind. So we hopefully appreciate the opportunity to decide on where we want this built. I guess that's it. So,
Thank you very much. I appreciate the comments. All right, there being no other edits presented, I will close that part of it and see if there's any questions from the, actually not close it, but see if there's any questions regarding the evidence from members of the committee. Or the commission. Any questions from anybody?
So, this is Tanvi. I had a question.
Okay.
Guys, yeah, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So, one of the questions I had was on the, so as far as I remember, and I'm going back to look at the elevations, it seems like all the elevations have a pair of windows. And I was wondering if this is the only elevation where you would have the single in the elevation, or do any of the other sites have similar situations? Just a question, because I'm looking back at the one that was approved earlier, that did have a single too. Yeah. But I'm just going back to the overall elevation, and it seems like each is always a pair of windows.
On the proposed kitchen, or?
I would direct you. Go ahead, Mike, if you got something to say. Go ahead.
No, I guess I'm not sure where the singles would be. There are existing single windows on the house.
There are? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, because on the south elevation, other than the one in the remodeled area, you don't see that proportion elsewhere.
Well, down at the basement.
I would say if you look on section 1.7, on page 1.7, the large blueprints, if you look like kind of in the middle of the house, you'll see a single large window there. Also on the upper part, you'll notice one kind of wraps around by itself.
Yep.
So there are a few places where we might put a single window.
Right, there are. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that was my only question.
I do respect it as a triple release. One of my concerns, of course, when I read this the first time was, what if Frank Lloyd Wright's big thing with the use of light, in his architecture, and the closing of those, the set of 4 windows for the higher cabinets was a little concerning to me. But this is an addition on the house that we've already approved. So it's not really part of the actual house, and it does keep the symmetry from the outside. Are there any questions from members of the commission?
I have a quick question following up on that, Chairman. For those 4 small windows on the west side, was there any consideration given to those as shadow boxes? And actually retaining them as a light, but it just is blacked off on the inside, giving it some depth?
Well, the cabinets would go above the window and would actually block the glass.
That's what a shadow box would be then. You've got your glass on the exterior face and then the depth of your stud. So it still maintains the overt appearance of the glass without having it reaching into the inside of the house.
No, we didn't look at that. We could, but I'm not sure it would add anything to it. It might, it would introduce one more different feature to the home. So I think I would not go for that. Just a thought.
It just provides the exterior appearance of the continuity of those windows. But again, that is an addition to the original structure.
Yeah. We could look at it, Eric, if you wanted to.
I'm looking at it right now, and I don't know. I mean, you can look at it. It's maybe more appealing, great. I think how it's trimmed out with the similar materials that we're using, Mike.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I don't know. I hate saying this, but if we do something like that, we find
This is Commissioner.
Kind of a potential maintenance issue.
yeah.
That I've seen that. And then if you paint the glass black, sometimes the paint comes off. Yeah. Well, you keep what we would be creating.
You keep the glass clear, and you're painting the inside of the box, whatever your color is, so that the glassiness of the window itself remains as a piece of glass.
Right. I'm not sure where you'd paint then, behind the cabinet.
Yeah, how do you get to how do you paint?
In a shadow box, the void between the exterior of the building where your glazing is and the exterior face of your interior drywall is the box. All right, so you would paint the back side of the drywall that you'll never see ever again, and then that creates depth behind the glass. It'll create a shadow line when the light hits it, and it just, maintains that appearance from the exterior.
This is Commissioner Glass. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Shadow boxes weren't part of Frank Lloyd Wright's original design in pretty much any of his. So I don't see where that becomes something that's, it just seems like a lot of extra work for the homeowners.
I was just asking if
That's not typical. It's a good idea, but it's not typical in a Frank Lloyd Wright design. Mm-hmm. He put windows in for light, like was mentioned earlier. So it seems like a big request to make. And then you can only access it once and paint it once, and then it's never to be touched again. I don't understand how that would.
This is Commissioner Vitu. I agree with Commissioner Glass's assessment on that issue. And I also want to point out, even though I'm having some trouble with the video on my end, I can see when people are sharing their screens. For whatever reason, that seems to work. So.
Are there any other questions from the commission? Hearing none, is there a motion to send forth a recommendation of appropriateness to the board?
We do need to ask for public comment.
I'm sorry, you're right.
I don't know that.
Is there any public comment?
Hi, this is Lisa. We have no comments on the YouTube chat or email to ComDev.
Okay, thank you. All right, now I think we're ready.
Okay, there being no public comment, is there a motion from the commission, from the commissioner, to send forth to the village trustees an acceptance of appropriateness on the revised plans, if they so choose to take them?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Who was second?
Who was the second?
I was.
Okay, thank you.
Nasty.
Okay, and then we'll do take roll. Commissioner Furness?
Aye.
Commissioner Glass?
Yes.
Commissioner Corbett, I believe, is absent. Commissioner Daspy?
Aye.
Commissioner Parikh?
Yes.
Commissioner Fogarty?
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon is absent. Commissioner Vitu?
Yes.
And Chairman Hutchinson?
Yes, I vote yay.
All right. Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What do you guys like better?
I like better.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. We're in a quandary here.
Yeah, baby.
It's nice to have all those windows, right?
That's what Amy and I thought when we looked at yesterday. So that's where we're leaning towards, and
Yeah.
Mike's work with us.
Yeah.
Again,
Is that it then?
That's it for you guys. You're welcome to stay on, or you can log off. It's up to you.
much
You
appreciated.
want to log off and you're in the area, there's some great restaurants that are open for outdoor seating. It's a beautiful night out while it's not raining. Go grab some food. Enjoy Wilmette. We look forward to seeing the completion of this house and seeing which way you went with the oven there or not.
Hey, if you guys hit us up if you want to stop by and see how things are coming along, okay?
Oh, great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Pretty interesting. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the effort.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, Kate, I want to put a point of order. I believe we have somebody who has joined us after the swearing in. I believe Lauren has joined us after I swore everybody in. Lauren, are you planning on giving any testimony today on behalf of your case?
I'm not planning on it. I was just going, but if I have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Well, in that case, I need to swear you in real quick. Could you please raise your right hand? And do you swear to affirm, or do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth in the testimony that you are about to give? And if so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you. All right, we are sworn in. We have everybody sworn in now, I believe. So the next item on the agenda is 220 HPC 03, which is a certificate of appropriateness for a change to the house at 1040 Chestnut Avenue. We're adding a rear addition to this local landmark, the Slager House. And who is going to be summarizing what's happening here?
I will be.
Fantastic. Thank you. If you could identify yourself for the record and
Sure.
go right ahead.
My name is Ellen Whitehead. I'm with Morganti Wilson Architects, and I'm presenting on behalf of the homeowner, Laureen Mersheimer, who's also with us. We are proposing a small addition to the rear of 1040 Chestnut Avenue, also known as the Shager House, to expand the existing kitchen area to include a family room. The shape of the addition echoes similar motifs of extruded arches, which are found elsewhere in the home. The addition sits slightly off of the rear corner of the existing house, articulating a division between the new and existing. The proposed addition is not anticipated to be visible from the street. The exterior finishes at the addition will match the original materials, and we are proposing the removal of some existing kitchen windows, which were included in a 2000 remodel of the kitchen. And the new windows on the addition will match nearby original windows configuration, divided light pattern, color, and likeness. We appreciate your consideration and are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Is it anyone in the commission happen to have a question? I will say that I stopped by the property on Saturday, and I was out there long enough to where Laureen came out and said, "What are you doing out here? Why are you not?" She was out there gardening. She had come out to work on the garden, and she was kind enough to give me actually a little tour of the outside and what they were going to do. It is, like you heard, you can't really see it from the street, just due to the way the house is and the yard is set. But I did get a nice tour of it, and I will say the garden on the west side of that house is looking fabulous. I wish it wasn't a sunken garden, and we could all enjoy it a lot more, but it is beautiful. One thing I'm not sure was mentioned was I guess they plan on also repurposing the bricks from that exterior wall. that they have as best they can and matching it with what they might need otherwise. Yeah, basically it kind of looks like they're taking the outside grill space and enclosing it to make it more kitchen area. It doesn't really affect the patio that's back there from what I saw. It is going to be, I think, a change, but one that will be very negligible as far as the house goes. It was a nice tour. Thank you for that. Are there any questions from any of the other commissioners? Going once? Any comments from any of the commissioners? Concerns from any of the commissioners? Okay. Then I guess I will ask if there is any public comment, Kate, regarding this issue.
We did not receive any written testimony before the meeting. I think Lisa will jump in if anything was emailed or asked through YouTube, but it sounds like we don't have any public comment on this case.
Yeah, this is Lisa. We've got no YouTube chat comments or email on this.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hutchison, if it's okay, out of line, I'm just going to say something. This is funny. Yeah. I just wanted to say, in fact, while looking at the existing and what you're proposing, I like the way you're proposing more than what those existing windows look like. So it's kind of nice. It is more in line with the general character of the whole elevation.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
How tall are the windows? I couldn't tell from the elevation. There's not any. Oh, yeah, maybe I can't. No, I can't.
1.8 is what you might want to look at, just to see the elevated heights of it.
No, the side windows. On 1.7. They're above the cabinets. Is that what you're proposing?
Correct. Let me see if I can get you a dimension. From the floor, they would be about 9 feet.
Yeah, about 9 feet above finished floor. I mean, I walked by I drove by the house as well, and you can't really see it. So from the street, it's not visible, so it's not as. It is a little more contemporary looking, but it's hard to. There's really not a lot of options of what else you could do.
We are matching the existing window, the transom height. So the windows align throughout.
Yeah, that's fine.
Any other questions? Comments? Hearing none, is there a motion from the commission to pass forth a favorable recommendation to the village board regarding this addition?
Commissioner Bachu also moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
All right.
Kate, seeing as
Yeah, Commissioner.
how it's motion and second, please call the roll.
Commissioner Furness,
Aye.
Commissioner Glass,
Yes.
Commissioner Corbett is absent. Commissioner Daffy,
Aye.
Commissioner Puri?
Yes?
Commissioner Fogarty?
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon is absent. Commissioner Vatu?
Yes.
And Chairman Hutchinson.
I vote yes.
Great, motion passes.
Okay, on to item number 5. The consideration of a request for local landmark designation of 336 Sheridan Road. Case number 2020 HPC 04. Is there anybody here to speak on this one?
I think your audio is off, yeah.
Yep, it was. I'm the lucky winner with that house. So this is one that my wife was watching while it was on the market, and the price continued to reduce and continued to reduce, and it finally got to a point where we thought we could actually afford all of the work that needed to take place on it. As we get started, we find that's never true, but we're still in that. It's still moving forward. So I'll give you a little bit of background just on what we have on the house, and then I think we can talk for a second or two about what we have planned for it and what we've already begun. The house was built in 1907 and finished in 1908 by, I'm not sure how to say the gentleman's name, but I think it's Palladius Gates of the Gates Iron Works Company. Gates Iron Works was started in 1842 in Chicago and made all sorts of iron machinery and so forth. So when the house was built, it was the only house on a 5-acre parcel that stretched all the way from Sheridan Road to the lake. So it was a ginormous estate, and part of Wilmette, where that was actually, it was actually Evanston at the time, but later annexed by Wilmette. That was actually called no man's land back then because there were so few other houses nearby. The property was later subdivided in 1927, and the parcels that were split off formed Canterbury Court, the subdivision that's just to the south and east of us. Later on in the 50s, they actually split off the coach house and constructed a garage behind the property without a permit, or at least there's no record in the Wilmette village office of that garage ever being constructed. So my wife and I have planned and have actually commenced on a full rehab of the house. We submitted a permit, in the fall and received it. We've been working with Laura Ramsey of Ramsey Historic Consultants, who has been dealing with Darius at the State Historic Preservation Office. And based on the plans that we have for it, we've received a preliminary nod from the State Historic Office that they will approve the house subject to you folks approving it. In addition, the State Historic Office has approved plans to go ahead and relocate a garage from the back of the house that was built without the permit to the side of the house. And I think when we submitted this application, we submitted plans for the garage relocation also. So what are we doing with the house? From the exterior of the house, we are restoring the soffit and fascia and dental work going all the way around. There are numerous places where it's been rusted out and needs to be replaced, as well as some of the corbels. We've decided to actually tuck point the entire house and replace all of the lintels. We had initially planned to go ahead and do spot tuck pointing and just replace some of the lintels, but that is not going to be sufficient. So we're doing everything in the entire house. We've actually ground out a sample of the mortar and matched the interior color rather than the faded exterior color. And we're awaiting approval from the state before we start that tuck pointing effort. We've started grinding, we just haven't received final approval on the mortar. On the interior, it's getting a full interior renovation. So finishing the basement, new kitchens, new bathrooms. We're keeping all of the doors and reusing where we can. We're either keeping the trim on the inside or manufacturing the like trim to go ahead and install throughout. The floors, we're having custom manufactured inch and a quarter. I think it's either inch and a quarter or inch and 3/4. It's inch and a half is a standard size. We're doing a non-standard size, so I have to get custom hardwood floors quarter sawn in Indiana and manufactured. The heating system has been upgraded to a high efficiency boiler. We've taken out every single radiator from the house and shipped them up to Kenosha, Wisconsin to get the ornamental radiators sandblasted and powder coated, and they've been shipped back. What else? We've added a space pack system. Other than that, we're trying to keep as much of the character as possible, so full electrical, rewire, full plumbing, etc. One area we're not touching is the roof, unfortunately. That's still got a lot of useful life left, and it was a clay tile roof at one point. I wish they never took the clay tile off. It would have been a lot nicer to refinish that. But other than that, that's what's planned. The home is a colonial revival home. I don't know if you folks have been by to see it, but it's about nearly 8,000 square feet above grade with almost 2,000 square feet below grade. It's kind of a monumental undertaking, but we're hoping to have it done and wrapped up by September. We plan on moving in September.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's kind of it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, sir.
Let me preface, I am not an architect. I am not an architectural historian. You're going to ask me anything about colonial revival architecture, I am not the guy. So I apologize. But we have spoken with the Wilmette Historical Society, and like I said, we're working with Laura Ramsey and the Illinois State Historic Preservation Office on the project.
Okay.
Well, to my untrained eye, it looked like you might also be undertaking some kind of foundation work. It looked like there'd been some excavation around the base of the house.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
There's scaffolding set up right now. We just started doing the grinding in preparation for tuck pointing, but no foundation work is planned for the home, except in the back of the house. At one point, the home was connected to the coach house that's behind it. Coach house actually had the boiler plant. So there's a tunnel underneath the garage that contains cast iron pipes that run all the way to the coach house. They blocked it off on the coach house side, but you can actually crawl through that tunnel from our basement going into and underneath the garage. So the only foundation work is going to be replacing that portion of the foundation with a concrete wall similar to what they did at the adjacent coach house. Okay. And that's going to come at a later time. Now, the other thing that we plan on doing, the circular brick driveway with pavers, it actually extends down the north side. So I've got a crew of Wilmette kids that are going to help me pull up all the pavers on the north side of the property. And we plan on actually relaying the entire circular driveway just because there are a number of pavers that are cracked or damaged, as well as a number that have just gotten out of kilter and are tilted. So that's one of the other things. But keeping in the same character of what they have.
And I just wanted to quickly add the request today is for the landmark designation. The remodel permit has already been issued, so that's not something that the commission is going to see. If the owners decide in the future to make any changes to the exterior of the home, once the home is landmarked, then obviously any changes would come to the commission. The landmark nomination is specifically for the house. The existing garage is not included in the landmark designation. So if in the future they demolish that existing garage, construct a new one, the commission won't see that because it's not going to be landmarked with the house.
I would like to say that based on the application, just having been to the house, I walked around a little bit on Saturday. I think it is more than just an outstanding example of this architecture. I mean, all the keystones over the windows, the whole property is just absolutely almost a perfect idea of what you'd want for a Georgian house. I mean, it's fantastic. The fact that it's a significant architect out of a prominent school of architecture and for a prominent family in Chicago is just icing on the cake. But this is a beautiful example of the kind of architecture that we can have here in Wilmette that can work. So I commend you on undertaking the task for sure.
Thank you.
I agree. I live around the corner and have lived here. I've watched that house for years, and I remember for at least 2 years it had giant blue tarps over the roof where there was leaking. So I'm sure you're has some water damage in there.
Yeah, there is. Or was.
So I commend you as well. Excellent. That because I believe Winnetka had one of similar stature torn down.
It did.
Yep. So excellent.
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Oh, wait. Can I say something else? Never mind. I'll skip it here. No, we're in on Wednesday for a zoning variance to construct the garage that the state has already approved. I didn't know if that was under consideration by you folks or if we have to go in front of this commission again.
No, the garage is not part of the landmark nomination. So this commission, the Historic Preservation Commission, only reviews changes to landmark structures. So the garage will not necessitate a review by this commission.
Got it. One last question. We're also, as part of the garage review, they're also reviewing a deck on the back of the house. I don't know if that's something that I think we submitted the plans for the deck and the garage at the same time, but is that something we would need to come before you folks again?
A deck is actually, the Historic Preservation Commission handbook outlines levels of review, and a deck is something that could be done at the staff level. So that won't require us to schedule a meeting to review something like that.
All right, perfect. Thanks. Sorry to waste your time.
No problem.
Not a waste. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Hearing none, seeing none. Kate, are any public comments regarding this matter?
I have not received any public comment. I don't believe anything has been received over YouTube or via email.
Okay. Without public comment, is there a motion to pass on a positive recommendation to the village board regarding the certificate of landmark designation for 336 Sheridan Road?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second. I'll second.
Thank you. Kate, there being a motion on the table that's been seconded, would you please give a roll call on this matter?
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Furness?
Aye.
Commissioner Glass?
Yes.
Commissioner Corbett? Absent. Commissioner Daspy?
Aye.
Commissioner Parikh?
Yes.
Commissioner Fogarty?
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon is absent. Commissioner Vatu?
Yes.
And Chairman Hutchinson.
Yes.
All right, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all you're doing.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks. We're going to need it.
All right, on to topic 6, public comments. Are there any public comments on anything from anyone? Nothing's anything, Kate?
No public comments on any other topics.
Okay, then item number 7, approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting as submitted in our packets? Or first, let me ask, are there any amendments or changes to the meetings anybody wants to make? Hearing and seeing none, is there a motion to approve as submitted?
So moved. To approve.
Is that a move and a second, Kate?
Yes.
I didn't hear a second. Is there a second?
Over to a second.
Okay, thank you. And then I'll do a quick roll. Commissioner Furness?
Aye.
Commissioner Glass?
Yes.
Commissioner Corbett, absent. Commissioner Daspy?
Yes.
Commissioner Parikh?
Yes.
Commissioner Fogarty?
Yep.
Commissioner Harmon, absent. Commissioner Vitu?
I think I need to abstain, seeing as I was not at that meeting.
Okay, thank you. And Chairman Hutchinson?
Yes.
Okay. Minutes are approved from June 15th, 2020.
All right, before adjournment, is there any other business anybody would like to bring up at all for the commission? Any business from the commissioners or anyone else? All right, no? Well, I appreciate everybody doing this. Kate, thank you for putting this together for us. I'm sure it's been tough for everybody. I hope we're all enjoying the quarantine. But I'm going to go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 4:51. Yep, 4:51. We will adjourn the meeting.
We need to do a quick motion for that, and then I'll do a roll call to adjourn also.
Fantastic. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Furness?
Aye.
Commissioner Glass?
Yes.
Commissioner Corbett, absent. Commissioner Daspy?
Aye.
Commissioner Parikh?
Yes.
Commissioner Fogarty?
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon, absent. Commissioner Vitu?
Yes.
And Chairman Hutchinson?
Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and for participating. And stay dry. I hear alarms going off, so stay safe. And thank you all very much. That concludes our meeting.
Thank you.
Total